Alrighty, hello everybody, this is Kirk here, and whenever I last left off, we had just gotten done with the entrance exam, and Deku had won first place, Baku got second place, and Momo got third. Now the reason why I'm not giving Momo that big of a power boost is because I don't really know what she did for training for those 10 months. And because Bakugo's explosions got a boost after getting One For All. Because One For All has been stated that it can boost other people's quirks whenever it is passed down to them. My original idea was to pass on One For All to Deku, but with the way people talk about how Fat Gum's quirk is, if you essentially use it to its maximum potential, like as much as possible, it's actually stronger than One For All, from what I've heard. Because Fat Gum's literally sat on an explosive before and literally created an explosion so large he thought he almost killed himself. Now, that was actually 4 years before My Hero Academia, which I was going to reference, but never mind. Now, Deku is walking into UA, and whenever he walks in, he's actually really happy and really excited. And he would walk in to see Momo and Bakugo sitting down. Now, as soon as he would walk in, like genuinely walks through the classroom door, people are running toward him, they're actually talking to him. They're asking why his quirk is so similar to Fat Gum's, what can it do, and exactly how he does all that. He would just explain that his quirk is actually it's very similar to Fat Gum's, but he can do things Fat Gum can't. People ask what they mean, and he would actually just say that his body mass is essentially a shell. He can actually get out of it anytime he wants to, but he stays in it because if anyone hits him, he actually holds that energy. And he can actually collect it and actually use it to attack. But attacking actually makes the body, or my shell, sort of deflate. Essentially, I can burn 1,000 calories in a punch. Which people would actually find very interesting, but also very, what the heck, because burning 1,000 calories is just one single motion. Does not sound like that impressive, but it actually is very amazing. Now, this is when Aizawa will walk in. He's saying that they don't have time to talk about their quirks, so they are going to... Well, he doesn't care. They're not going to the opening ceremony, I believe it's called. They are going to be doing a quirk assessment test. And the person who scores last place will be kicked out of UA. Cuts to Mineta screaming. Anyway. Not actually going to include that. Anyways. This is whenever Deku. He would then... Everyone would start walking over to the area to go change clothing, and as soon as Deku would change into his, Kirishima is actually asking Deku why he essentially looks very brawny. And Deku would explain to Kirishima that there's a difference between actual muscle and... Well, the way athletes train their muscles, they're actually doing it a very different way. What you want to do is, they're actually cutting muscle and cutting fat. So they're being more lean and clean. But there's a difference between that kind of muscle and actual functioning muscle. Basically, I have functioning muscle where this muscle isn't for show, it's for work. Where most people just either work out to look nice, or they work out to be somewhat flashy in their hero outfits. As soon as Kirishima or Deku explains it. I almost just had an aneurysm trying to pronounce Deku's name. This is whenever Kirishima would kind of understand, and everyone would continue changing. Now, everyone would go outside, and Deku would be outside along with everyone. And this is when Aizawa is telling Deku that they are going to be doing he got first place on the ball throw, so he needs to throw it as far as he can. And be sure to use your quirk. Deku would understand this, and he would immediately just start throwing the ball in between his hands as fast and as hard as he can. And he's basically just building up the fat in his hand, or storing up kinetic energy, just so he can get an extra distance. As I was telling him to hurry up, as Deku would immediately just cock his hand backwards, it would start glowing and actually vibrating a bit. Basically, his hand would be shaking very heavily, and he would immediately lob the ball very far. And he would go from looking somewhat like this to somewhat more like Falcom's actual face, or the actual canon Deku. People would see this and they would actually be surprised, because he wasn't joking. As Deku would get... let's see. He would get about, I want to say... let's say he gets about like 2,000 to 2,500 meters. So basically about 2 kilometers. Or a mile. Anyways, people would be surprised by this, and this is whenever everyone else would they would go into all categories. On the 50-meter run, Deku would immediately he would have put the energy in his foot, and he would have actually launched up with it, actually essentially bouncing and rolling on the ground like a giant ball. Which everyone is even more concerned by, because as soon as he would get to the finish line, he would have immediately just unfolded himself and just got back up off the ground. Everyone's asking what he's even doing, and he would explain that that's actually how he builds up kinetic energy. Now, for the other events, Deku would get second place, if not third place, in a lot of other events, but he would mainly be in first, and Bakugo, he would, if I remember correctly, it was Momo in first for a lot of categories, and I believe Todoroki. I'm not exactly sure, but let's say Deku places first in every category except the ball throw. And Bakugo places a good third, if not second, besides Yayorozu. Now, because of this, Mineta would be kicked out. And if you guys know how I like doing my what ifs, I don't include Ayama. So, actually, I don't include Invisible Girl either now. So let us have Ibara, Shinsho, and Kendo join in. If you guys are wondering why I include Ibara, it's because she's actually she scored the highest in Class 1B. So she would have actually been the person who would have gotten moved up, not Shinsho, if we're going by actual class standards. So I move her up into Class 1A, so I can move Kendo and Shinsho into Class 1, from 1B to 1A. Now then. Oh yeah, I have more than enough time to do what I want to do for the Heroes vs. Villains. Deku, or, let's see. Everyone would be told that they're going to be doing combat training one day, and this is whenever everyone would be told to go into hero costumes. Deku's hero costume is similar to Falcom's, but he doesn't have his face covered, he doesn't have his face covered, or a hoodie. In fact, he just wears He wears his regular cannon shoes along with some actual stretchy jeans or just stretchy pants. And he just has his arms covered in wraps. Not like these. Actually, no, he doesn't cover his hand in wraps, but he does have fingerless gloves. Like Fat Gum's, how they are made to actually help with his redirection of motion or kinetic energy. But he just wouldn't have a tank top on. He would have that thing similar to Sun Eater, that tactical vest thing. I want to say he would have that on, but he'd be able to get it to where it's made out of stretchy material. Hang on, please. Sorry about that, my dad's dog kept barking. Anyways, this is when everyone's talking and they're asking why he didn't just go for like a jacket like Fat Gum. Deku would say he's not trying to copy him, and either way, he wants to be his own hero. Now, everyone would be paired up for drawings. In this drawing, it's going to be Deku and Uraka versus Todoroki and Bakugo. Now, I know how you usually do things, and I just want to switch things up. Because I usually don't do all the battles the same. Sometimes I'll do them the same if I feel like it, but people understand. Anyways, this is whenever Todoroki, he would go with Bakugo up to the villain's team, and Deku would go with Deku and Uraka would be waiting outside. Uraka is asking if they have a plan, and Deku would say that he already knows Bakugo's quirk. Well, quirks, and he already knows how to face him. Because he's essentially immune to Bakugo's quirks. But Todoroki's quirks are a bit different. Essentially, if Todoroki can freeze him, he can freeze that kinetic energy, actually taking it all out of his body. If you were to burn him, though, that makes it more difficult. Because he may just destroy my outer shell. Now, she's asking what he means by quirks, and this is when Deku and her would walk in. He's giving explanations, and she is actually understanding quite a bit. Now, this is whenever Deku, he would get attacked by Bakugo by him just blowing an explosion into his body. And Deku, this shirt that he's wearing, it's made out of the same material as Fat Gum's, but it's not like anywhere near as bulky like as the Sun Eater's clothing is. But yeah, okay. I think I need to be clearer on that. Anyways, this is whenever Bakugo, he would be throwing explosions, and he would actually be trying and think of a way to use One For All, because it broke his arm last time. As Deku is talking with Bakugo, he's blowing him up, trying to do all that. Todoroki is just trying to freeze the hallway, and he would actually freeze the entire stairwell. Uraka would go to the stairwell, and she sees that she can't get through, so she would just tap on herself and just fly up to the top floor. And she would just start waiting there. Bakugo is throwing all these explosions at Deku, and he's actually throwing punches. These aren't doing anything. Deku would finally just, as soon as he gets tired of it, he would actually just throw a punch at Bakugo, actually sending him back into a wall, actually blasting a lot of that energy back at him. Which Bakugo is now a bit pissed by, but he would try using One For All, thinking just focus on... Well, he's thinking that he saw what happened to Deku last time. Just try not to do that. Try not to do that. As he would try throwing an explosion. Well, he tried throwing a punch at Deku, but Deku would have immediately dodged. Now, the shockwave that happens would be around the same way it was whenever Deku tried throwing a punch at the Nomu. But Deku would have seen that, and he would have just punched Bakugo on the side of the head, actually knocking him out. Now, as soon as that would happen, Deku would have immediately just went into the stairwell, and he would see what's going on. So he would immediately just start dodgeballing his way up, or rolling his way up, which is basically where he turns himself into a ball and uses kinetic energy he's stockpiled to actually fire himself in different directions. Now, as soon as he would get to the top floor, this is whenever Todoroki would be confused as he hears the sound of like a kickball, as he would realize that that's Midoriya. Deku would immediately walk in, and as soon as he walks in, or rolls in, he would immediately just start bouncing all around the room. He's going in every single direction you can think of, up, down, left, right, this way, that way, bingo, bongo. Anyways, now then, as this is happening, Deku's flying around, Todoroki's trying to freeze the room, but anytime Deku touches the ground, he immediately just unthaws some parts of the room, or he just breaks some parts of the ice. Now, Deku essentially he would be hitting Todoroki, and he's actually still building momentum. Now, as soon as he would have done that, Deku would have immediately grabbed onto Todoroki whenever he could and actually just captured him by absorbing him into his body. Now, Todoroki would be retaliating and he'd be trying to get out, but he would eventually have to stop, because he's basically rendered immobile once he's in there. Now, this would be where All Might would declare those two the winners, and Deku would let Todoroki out. Now, Todoroki is telling Deku that he's not going to be left behind so easily, and he will become the #1 hero. Deku's just an obstacle in his way, and he would give his edgelord speech. Now, calm down, Sasuke. Anyways, this is whenever Deku, he's confused as he wants to ask a question, but crap. As soon as he would go to, no one would tell him not to do that, because that's Shota Todoroki. Deku would say Todoroki, isn't that Endeavor's last name? As he would realize that that's a very, very, very tortured boy. Anyway, now, that is where I'm going to be leaving this part off of here, guys. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and have an amazing day. I am not going to be going over the USJ event anytime soon, or not until after I get done with work at least, so do not expect any more videos until around 11 o'clock, or around 12 o'clock today, which a lot of you guys might be asleep for, so you guys can at least start Christmas Eve with a YouTube video. Well, catch you guys later.